You are Weston Calloway, and it is 6:14 in the morning, and you are standing in the stairwell of the Ashgrove Tower parking garage, watching your breath fog in the cold, because the elevator has been broken for 3 days and nobody in management has bothered to fix it. You are 41 years old. You have a 7-year-old daughter named Junie, and in 11 minutes, you need to clock in at the security desk on the ground floor of a building where almost nobody knows your name. They call you the quiet guy. Sometimes they don't call you anything at all. 3 years ago, you were someone else, a team leader, a platoon of men who trusted you with their lives and you with theirs. 14 years in the Navy, the last 6 of them in a unit whose name doesn't appear on your resume, doesn't appear anywhere, because it was never meant to. You left, the way most of them do, quietly, with a folded flag you don't display, a knee that aches when it rains, and a silence you carry like a second skin. You didn't plan on being a security guard at a mid-size insurance and finance building in Charlotte, North Carolina, but Junie's mother left when Junie was 2. And somebody had to be steady. Somebody had to be home for dinner. Somebody had to coach the soccer team and braid hair that never quite behaves and show up every single day, no matter what. So you traded a rifle for a flashlight. You traded chaos for quiet. And most days, quiet is exactly what you wanted. You didn't expect quiet to end on a Tuesday. The lobby of Ashgrove Tower smells like burnt coffee and floor polish at this hour. And Denise, 62, has worked the front desk for 19 years, knows everyone's name and half their business is already there, sorting through a stack of visitor badges. "Morning, Weston," she says, not looking up. "Cold enough for you?" "Getting there," you say. And that's usually the extent of your conversations. You're not unfriendly, you're just economical with words. The way men are who once learned that unnecessary talk on a comms channel could cost someone their life. Old habits don't die, they just find new rooms to live in. You take your position near the east entrance, the one that leads up to the executive floors, the 14th floor, where Adeline Marsh, CEO of Bellwether Financial Group, runs a company worth more money than you'll see in 10 lifetimes. You've spoken to her twice in 8 months. Both times, she said, "Thank you," and nothing else. You don't take it personally. CEOs aren't paid to notice security guards. That's not a complaint. It's just how the world is built. By AM, the lobby starts filling analysts in tailored coats, junior associates clutching phones like lifelines, the low hum of a building waking up. You watch all of it the way you've trained yourself to. Watch everything, not suspiciously, just thoroughly. Exits, blind spots, who moves with purpose and who drifts. It's not paranoia, it's just how your mind is wired now, permanently. The way a piano tuner can't stop hearing which notes are flat. Today, something is different, though you don't clock it as danger yet. Just an itch, a small dissonance. At 7:42, delivery van parks in the loading zone that's been closed for repaving for 2 weeks. Nobody uses that entrance. You watch 3 men exit it, wearing gray coveralls with the courier logo stitched crooked on the chest, the kind of detail that would mean nothing to almost anyone else in this building. But you notice, the logo is wrong. Not fake, exactly. Copied. But the stitching pattern doesn't match the actual courier company that services this building, the one whose real vans you've seen 100 times. The men move like they've rehearsed something, not confident, rehearsed. There's a difference, and you know it in your bones. You radio the front desk. "Denise, hold anyone from that east loading entrance until I clear them." "Copy that," she says, though her tone suggests she thinks you're being your usual overly careful self. You are not being overly careful. By the time you reach the loading corridor, the 3 men are already inside. And you understand, with the flat certainty of someone who has been in rooms like this before, that something is deeply wrong. The first one is young, maybe 25, jittery in a way that tells you he's new to this, nervous, energy masquerading as calm. The second is older, heavier, moves like muscle memory, someone who's done this before and lived. The third, The one who speaks first has eyes that are too still. That stillness is the most dangerous thing in the room, and you clock it instantly. Buildings closed for maintenance. The still-eyed man says to you, pleasant, almost bored, you can head back to the desk. Maintenance crew scheduled for next Tuesday, you say, keeping your voice level, unbothered. The voice you use when de-escalating is still an option. I'll need to see your work order. The still-eyed man's jacket shifts just slightly, and you see the outline beneath it, the unmistakable silhouette of a weapon. Your body goes cold and calm at the same time. An old, familiar feeling you had hoped never to need again. We're not here for maintenance, he says quietly. 3 floors above you, 40 people are at their desks, eating breakfast sandwiches, checking emails, laughing at something on a coworker's phone, with absolutely no idea that in the next 90 seconds, everything about their ordinary Tuesday is about to change. You have 3 options in front of you, and you weigh them the way you were trained to weigh them. Fast, clean, without panic. You could run, pull the fire alarm, alert everyone, buy time for police to arrive in 6, maybe 8 minutes. Standard protocol. The safe choice. The choice nobody could ever blame you for. Or you could do what 14 years of training built into your spine before you ever built a life around being someone quiet. You could stop this here, in this corridor, before it becomes something worse. 3 floors up. Wallet's in my back pocket, you say, raising your hand slowly, playing the frightened security guard, buying 1 second, then 2. Take whatever you need. The still-eyed man smiles, the kind of smile that confirms everything you already suspected about him. A man who enjoys the fear of others. Not here for your wallet. Then what floor? You asked, voice shaking now, deliberately. Performance you've given before in rooms far more dangerous than this one. 14. The younger, jittery one says, before the still-eyed man can stop him. The CEO. And there it is. Confirmation. This isn't a robbery. This is a targeted operation, kidnapping, or worse. And the building's most valuable, most vulnerable person is sitting in a glass office, 14 floors above you, with no idea what's coming. You think of Adeline Marsh's face, polite, distant. The 2 thank yous she's ever given you. You think of the 40 analysts on her floor who chose insurance underwriting as a career, specifically because it was supposed to be safe, boring, uneventful. You think, unbidden and immediate, of Junie, waiting for you tonight with her hair in the same lopsided braid you gave her this morning, waiting for you to come home the way you always do. You think, not on my floor, not today. The still-eyed man raises his weapon, almost lazily, the motion of a man who has never once faced real resistance. He has never faced you. What happens next takes for seconds, though later, when you try to explain it to police, to your supervisor, to yourself lying awake at a.m., it will feel like it happened both instantly and in impossibly slow motion, the way violence always does, when your body takes over before your mind can catch up. You close the distance before he can register it. 14 years of training collapsing into a single motion, redirecting his arm upward as the weapon fires into the ceiling. The sound deafening in the enclosed corridor, plaster raining down like snow. Your other hand finds his throat, controlled, precise. Not to kill. You have never once wanted to kill anyone. That was never the job you signed up for. But to end the threat immediately and completely. The jittery younger one freezes, exactly as you predicted he would. Men who haven't done this before always freeze at the first shot. You use that half second, sweeping his legs, disarming him with a motion so practiced it barely required thought. The heavier one is the real problem. The one who's done this before. The one whose hesitation lasts only a fraction of a second before he moves. But a fraction of a second is still a fraction too long. You put him down hard against the concrete wall, the impact knocking the air from his lungs, his weapon skittering across the floor. 3 men. 4 seconds. Silence, except for ringing ears and the distant sound of the building's fire alarm, which someone, Denise, you'll learn later, quick thinking, Denise pulled the moment she heard the gunshot. You are breathing hard, your hands are shaking. Now that it's over, the way they always used to. After, the adrenaline finding its way out now that there's nowhere left for it to go. You radio it in. 3. Suspects down, corridor secure. Need police and medical. Possible target was the executive floor. There's a long pause on the radio. Weston. Denise's voice says, unsteady. What just happened? I'll explain, you say. Just get everyone on 14. Away from the windows and stairwells. You don't explain, not fully, not yet. Not to Denise. Not to the police who arrive 9 minutes later. Fast, but 9 minutes is a lifetime in a hostage scenario. 9 minutes. That would have meant everything if you hadn't been standing in that corridor. Not to Adeline Marsh, who comes down to the lobby 40 minutes later, pale, having been told only that there was an incident and that she should stay in her office. She looks at you standing near the east entrance, badge crooked, hands still faintly trembling, and for the first time in 8 months, she actually looks at you, with through you, past you, but at you. Was it you? She asks. Denise said she said you stopped them, alone. I did what needed doing, you say. Which is true, and also the only kind of sentence you know how to build around something like this. Who are you? Adeline asks, and there's something in her voice that isn't just curiosity. It's the particular disorientation of someone realizing the world contains an entire dimension they've never bothered to look at. Security guard, you say. Buildings, ma'am. Floor 2. That's not what I'm asking. You look at her for a long moment, weighing. The way you always weigh things, whether silence or honesty serves better. You decide, for once, on honesty. 14 years, Navy, you say. Special operations. I don't talk about the specifics. Not allowed to, mostly, and not inclined to. Besides, Adeline Marsh, CEO of a $300 million company, a woman who has negotiated mergers and fired executives, and sat across boardroom tables from men twice her size without blinking, stares at you like she's seeing a ghost standing in a security uniform. You've been in this building 8 months, she says slowly. I've said maybe 10 words to you the entire time. That's all right, you say. Wasn't your job to notice me? Was mine to notice everything else? The police take statements for hours. The 3 men, it comes out later in the investigation that the still-eyed man had been hired by a rival firm's disgraced former executive, someone who believed that removing Adeline Marsh from the picture would tank Bellwether's stock long enough for a hostile buyout. It's the kind of plot that sounds almost unbelievable when you say it out loud. The kind of thing that happens in movies, except it happened in your building, on your floor on a Tuesday that started like every other Tuesday of your life. By the time you finally leave, it's nearly PM. You are exhausted in a way that has nothing to do with your body and everything to do with the part of yourself you thought you'd folded up permanently, a part you didn't want to need again, but were grateful in some complicated and heavy way that you still had. Junie is asleep when you get home. Mabel Okafor, your elderly neighbor who watches her most evenings when your shift runs long, is sitting in your kitchen with 2 cups of tea, one already poured for you, because word travels fast in a small building, and even faster on the local news. They're saying you're a hero, Il says, sliding the tea towards you. Channel 9 had a whole segment. I don't feel much like one, you say, and you mean it. Heroes, in your experience, are a story other people tell about you afterward. In the moment, you're never anything but scared and moving and hoping you're fast enough. Junie asked why the news van was outside, Mabel says. I told her daddy helped some people at work today. She said, my daddy always helps people. That's just what he does. Something in your chest, already exhausted and raw, cracks a little further in the good way. The way it does when your child sees you more clearly than the entire world ever has. You go check on her before you sleep, the way you do every night, standing in her doorway, watching her breathe. The same lopsided braid from this morning, now half undone against her pillow. You think about how close today came to taking you from her permanent lot from a bullet. Though there was a version of today where that happened too, but from something quieter. The version of you that could have stood by, could have pulled the fire alarm and waited, could have let the professionals handle it and stayed safely uninvolved. That version of you would have gone home to her tonight too, but you wouldn't have been able to look at her the same way. Knowing what you chose not to do, you don't regret the choice. You never will. The next morning, you clock in at 6:14, same as always, and the lobby is different, not in any way you can point to specifically, but different. Denise hugs you, which she has never once done in 19 months of working the same desk 8 feet apart. 2 analysts you've never spoken to stop to shake your hand. Someone has left a card on the security desk unsigned that simply says, "Thank you for seeing what the rest of us didn't." At a.m., you're called up to the 14th floor, a place you've been exactly twice before in your career, both times to fix a badge scanner. Adeline Marsh's office is glass-walled, overlooking the whole city, and she's standing when you walk in, which strikes you as strange until you realize she's been waiting, pacing, for the last 20 minutes. "Sit down, Weston," she says, and you do, feeling suddenly, absurdly, like a kid called to the principal's office. "I've spent the last day trying to understand how a man capable of what you did yesterday has been checking badges in my lobby for 8 months," she says, "and I keep landing on the same answer because nobody ever thought to ask. Wasn't hiding, you say, just wasn't advertising. There's a difference between humility and invisibility," she says. "I'd like to fix that, if you'll let me." She offers you a position, Director of Corporate Security for Bellwether Financial Group, overseeing not just this building, but 4 regional offices. A salary that is more than double what you currently make. Benefits that would mean Junie's dental work stops being something you calculate against your grocery budget every month. "I need to think about it," you say, though some part of you already knows the answer, already knows what this means for Junie, for the life you've been quietly, carefully building for the two of you, brick by brick. "Take your time," Adeline says. Then, more quietly, "Owe you more than a job title, Weston. I owe you my life. I'm not sure there's a way to properly repay that, but I intend to try." "You don't owe me anything," you say, and you believe it, the way you believe most things you say, plainly, without decoration. "I did what anyone with my training would have done." "No," Adeline says, and for the first time, there's something fierce in her voice, something that reminds you, oddly, of the way Junie sounds when she's decided something and won't be moved. "Not anyone. You, specifically you. Don't diminish that." You take the job 3 days later, after talking it through with Junie over pancakes on Saturday morning. You always ask her opinion on big decisions now, ever since her mother left, because you decided a long time ago that a child who has already lost one parent's presence in her daily life deserves a voice in what happens to the parent who stayed. "Will you still pick me up from school?" she asks, which is, at 7 years old, the only metric that truly matters to her. "Every day, you promise. That never changes, no matter what job I have." "Then take it," she says, with the simple, absolute confidence of a child who has never once doubted that her father keeps his promises. 6 months later, you're standing in a different corridor. Not a loading dock, but a boardroom hallway on the 14th floor, now with the security badge that says director instead of guard, though. The job, at its core, is still the same job it always was. Notice everything. Protect what matters. Stay quiet about the rest. Denise still calls you the quiet guy sometimes, but it's fond now, not dismissive. Adeline Marsh stops to talk to you nearly every day, not out of obligation, but because she's told you more than once. You're one of the only people in the building who tells her the truth. instead of what she wants to hear. Junie has a photo of you in your old uniform, standing next to a building employee of the year plaque that embarrassed you more than it impressed anyone, taped to the inside of her school folder. When her second grade teacher asked the class what their parents do for work, Junie stood up and said simply, "My dad protects people. He always has." Even before anyone knew it. You think, sometimes, about the version of that Tuesday where you chose the safer option. Where you pulled the alarm and waited. Where the professionals arrived 9 minutes later to whatever they found on the 14th floor. You don't know what that version looks like. Not really in detail. You only know it isn't the version you chose. And you sleep most nights now, without the old dreams that used to visit you in the years right after you left the service. Dreams of rooms you couldn't get to in. Time of doors you opened 1 second too late. The gunmen that Tuesday had the wrong building, the wrong information, and though they could never have known it, though nobody could have known it, not even you, days. The wrong quiet man standing between them and the door. You didn't do it to be seen. You've never needed to be seen. You did it because somewhere between 14 years of service and 3 years of quiet mornings in a parking garage, you learned the same lesson twice, in 2 entirely different lives, that the people who matter most are rarely the ones making noise about it. You are still, most days, the quiet man in the lobby. You still walk Junie to school every morning. Her schedule allows it. You still make her lunch before you make your coffee. And you still tuck a small, folded note under the napkin. Sometimes not every day anymore, but often enough. But now, when people ask you what you do, you tell them plainly, without the old instinct to disappear into the wallpaper of your own life. I protect people. I always have. Some days, that just looks quieter than others. And on the nights when Junie falls asleep against your shoulder, safe, unaware of how close the world came to touching her life in a way it never should have, you understand something you didn't fully understand before that Tuesday, that the quietest people in any room are so often the ones who would give everything to keep it safe, and that the world rarely notices them until the one moment they absolutely have to. That moment came for you on a Tuesday in a loading corridor most people will never think about again. You were ready for it. You will always be ready for it. That is not a burden. It never was. It is simply, quietly, who you have always been long before anyone thought to ask, and long after most people stopped noticing.
Thank you for watching Western Story. Someone around you, there might be a quiet person carrying more strength than you will ever know. If this story moved you, subscribe and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Thank you.